Good habits are hard to come by, but not this morning. On Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends, we're talking habit stacking and how to create habits for a better life. This morning, Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. Welcome to Mornings in the Lab, where
when something negative comes up.
Building muscle appeal, blood flow.
Nobody is expecting Jon.
If your lady's saying that, you're just
It's a super food.
Be entertained by fun over here.
How if I slept? Has my sleep been good? Is that
There we go, you guys. What's going on this morning, nation? We are here. We're getting after. We're talking habits. We're talking how to create habits for a better life this morning on Mornings Live with Keith and Friends. Yes, sirree, baby. Hey, this is an explicit show, guys. So if you got kids around, I'd invite you to put the headphones in. Just like my headphones, put them in. Tell the kids there's bad words that might be said and you might be offended. So you can either walk them out of the room or you can teach them the bad words we're going to talk about this morning. Listen, Scott Shetler's joining us on the show this morning. The guy picks up heavy things and puts them down. No, I didn't talk about Jon Andersen. Who's Jon Andersen? He is my co-host. Yeah, Johnny showed up last June and he hasn't left yet. Yeah, also here's Chris from Martin, a.k.a. CMartyFit, the guy who gets you out of bed, gets you into the gym, gets you lifting big. That's CMartyFit. He's here as well today. And producer Jimmy, he's on the buttons. He does the sliding the buttons up and down and pressing buttons to make sure I look good, I sound good, and make sure you guys look good and sound good as well. And, of course, we got Tommy. Tommy's in the Mornings in the Lab community out there interacting with all of you, making sure you guys are hitting those habits, good habits, and just out there creating good conversation out there, boys. So, listen, big show here today. Jorie Janzen is going to come up later in the hour. We are going to talk meal prep. Yes, this whole idea of making all your food in one day and eating it throughout the week. Huh? What? Yeah, we're talking meal prep. I'm sure John is going to have some tips around how to buy a big cow and chop the cow up into little pieces so you can prepare your food throughout the entire week. And listen, before I forget to tell you, I invite you to subscribe to this channel. Subscribe, like it, tell all your friends, tell your buddies you've discovered the greatest morning show for men on the planet. We go live here at 8 o'clock Eastern time, Monday to Friday, over here on LinkedIn, X, YouTube, everywhere you can find us ubiquitously across the internets. We're on Blue Sky, we're on X, we're on Threads, we are on LinkedIn, we are on we're everywhere. Jimmy, speaking of everywhere, let's bring in the boys to see how everybody's doing. What's up, Johnny?
what's happening?
How are you, pal?
Good. It's another great day.
It is.
Oh, yeah.
It is another great day.
I love it when I'm literally like just starting to come to, about 5 minutes before my alarm. So I kind of know it's time to get up.
Yeah.
So it's like at 2:55. I'm just starting to kind of like, oh, I wonder what time it is, and then all of a sudden there goes the alarm.
Dude, same thing happened to me today as well. 3:55. So 3:55, my eyes opened up. I'm like, oh, it must be time to wake up very soon. Looked at my watch, Johnny, and I was like, oh, I'm getting up in 5 minutes. So I quickly rushed back to sleep for 5 more minutes and got up and got my ass out of bed. And you know what, pal? That was like, it was almost like my snooze. It's almost like it prepared me to get out of bed. You follow me?
Well, when I'm in this groove, it tells me that I'm really in my groove because like the circadian rhythm is so tight that I'm falling asleep right when I should and I'm waking up right when I should. Irregardless of my alarm becomes kind of more of like a safety net.
Yes. We have Amy Reinhardt this morning in the comments here this morning, and she dropped me a note this morning, and Johnny. We got to get some celebration out for this, pal, because I love when our listeners join in and share their great stories. Amy Reinhardt just met her. Amy, I'm going to stumble on my words here this morning. I'm a little short coffee. We had little problems with the coffee maker this morning, Johnny, and Lauren got her ass out of bed to help me get the coffee machine working. But as I walked into the show this morning, I'm still down 1 cup of coffee this morning. So we'll get that sorted out.
Good.
Yeah.
I got a coffee story. Jesus Christ. So I can't mention any names, but I got I got a sponsor that takes care of me with coffee, right? And they send these weird fucking flavors in, and sometimes they're amazing.
Yeah.
And I smelled this, and it was like, God, this is going to be good. Jesus Christ, it was so fucking bad. I could barely get a cup down. I've never, but it was because it was really strong, like pungently strong. It would, even the point where I put like a third of a cup and then put hot water, I still couldn't do it. So I was without coffee too for a day because it was the last shit that I had. So I'm with you.
There you go. So listen, I got a piece of content for us to discuss. When cardiologists, boys, are warning against a certain type of coffee to drink in the morning. We're going to get to that in a few moments. But hey, Johnny, we got our boy Christopher Martin here this morning. What's up, CMartyFit? Oh yeah, Johnny, he must be a rookie, man. I don't think he knows how to.
Can you not hear us, Martin?
No, he's still learning how to use this thing. I think he just showed up for the first time.
Oh yeah, he can hear us. He just gave us a finger, like, wait a minute.
Yeah. Well, so it's funny because Marty's you know, he's like a rookie. He's like that guy who stumbled into the locker room late. You know, he's fucking doesn't put his gear away. He's never on time. I know he can hear us, Johnny. So let's just fucking jump on the guy right now. Just jump all over.
Well, you know what I was actually thinking about? I was thinking about, you know, if I had people like if I had every morning the ability to have people to talk to frame my mind.
Yeah.
Oh my God. It would have been because I had to do all this shit by myself. There was no such thing as all this. You couldn't you couldn't connect with people like this. You had to find them and actually like at the gym.
Can you hear me now?
Every day.
Oh, we can hear you now.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now, brother.
Okay, cool.
But I had to attract people like this at the gym because like the heavy hitter business people would see the work I was putting in the gym and they're like, hey, you can do whatever you want to. But I was getting like, I was lucky if I got maybe 2 hours a week of the right type of conversation.
Well, dude, that's why when I was talking with Flynn about you and when we first started working together, like Flynn just maybe just kind of she said something really stuck with me. Like John built a personal brand, Marty, in the days of the fucking yellow pages.
Yeah.
Like honest to God, like you know, you think about like John's ancient, right? So the guy's been around a while, like fax machines and fucking pages of printed paper and stones and to be able to connect and build a brand, like an independent human brand, and monetize it. Back when we were using typewriters and fucking yellow pages. Like,
and you know the foundation of the whole thing was this: it didn't make a difference who looked at me.
Yeah,
people would look at me and say, "This motherfucker will do the shit that other people will not." And that's all it was. No, I swear to God, Marty, if you break it down, because it didn't make it if someone's look at me in business, in the gym, wherever I was doing, I was doing the shit that most people wouldn't. And successful people recognize that that's very rare.
Well, you know what, Johnny? It's interesting to hear you say that because, and Amy, I'm getting to your comments here in a second, Amy, so hang out there. Johnny, so when I was training with AJ at Focus Fitness and I was creating that business athlete mindset, that lifestyle I needed to get myself sorted out. That's where I started meeting a lot of professional athletes and professional hockey players and professional athletes, pro hockey players, business guys. Because John, like yourself, they kept seeing me show up and, you know, I did not have the physique like you, but I had the work attitude. I had the work ethic. And like, fuck, this guy just keeps showing up. Like, who is this dude? Like, who's the guy trudging through the gym in his fucking work boots and his trekking gear because he's going to go climb Kilimanjaro? And I had a lot of guys being curious, Johnny and Marty, going like, why and who are you? Because I was doing stuff that others weren't doing. And then like, you built the company. Oh, you sold it. Oh, I see.
Exactly. Because they recognize a behavior pattern. They're like, okay, this motherfucker's done something great. What is it?
Yes. And I love that you said that, Johnny, because that's the topic of today's discussion, behavior pattern and habits. Because I had a few guys come to me going, man, you got great habits.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Come on.
Speaking of good habits, Marty, Amy Reinhardt. You know Amy been on the show here? The old Bostonian Amy. So, dude, I got a comment from her this morning. Let's get the button ready, Marty. She's just met her body recomposition goals for body fat. So looking forward to learning more from our guest today. Which, boys, she did it plant-based. Tough when you're building muscle. So, you know, Amy went the plant-based route, but Amy, congratulations. You hit your goals.
Congrats, Amy.
Yeah. But here's the thing, boys, and let's offer some nothing but positive encouragement because we know how hard what happens next. You hit your goals. But what we want to do is maintain and continue achieving the goals. through continual.
That's it. And all you got to do is focus on the habits that got you there and keep with that shit.
Yes, Amy. So love the fact that you're here today, kid. Awesome. Boom, boom, boom. And celebrate that achievement. But kid, we got to get you coming back week after week and day after day because we got your back. You know you got your own back in the mirror. But don't let those good habits that got you here today, don't let that celebration confuse what's going to happen tomorrow. Because in my experience, we get so caught up in celebrating what we've achieved, and then we forget why we were doing it in the first place.
Well, and that's a good point because we really shouldn't have. I mean, granted, give yourself a pat on the back.
Oh,
100%. But don't celebrate. I mean, granted, use the wins to your favor, but celebrate the habits that got you there.
Yes.
You get confused celebrating the win. The win is like, okay, that just gives me more momentum to go a little deeper into my habit.
Yes.
So it's because it can be really, really, I tell the people I coach all the time, do not focus on the finish line because when you're focused on the finish line, you're not focusing on what you need to do today to get there.
Marty.
Yeah, I was going to say, don't get too high, don't get too low. And you got to get to a point where the finish line doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Right. You can't like when you hit the finish line,
checkpoint, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, oh yeah, I'm good now. That's going to mess you up.
One of the greatest things I've learned, and it's such a simple cliche, but we know how cliches are true. I go back to my Peloton platform experience and cycling or even lifting weights. But when I'll sit down for a long endurance ride, boys, be it 60 minutes, 90 minutes, or a couple hours, and you do them in intervals, right? You'll ride for like 15, 17 minutes or long, and then you'll do like a rest break. And one of the instructors reminded me to think about this. And Amy, I'm talking to you right now. Don't celebrate what you've accomplished. Yes, take some time to celebrate it.
Absolutely.
What you really need to do is prepare for what's coming next.
Yep.
Because you've already done that. Like what you've done is behind you now. So reflect upon it, admire it, but now you got to think about what's in front of you. Because if you're too focused on not recovering and not focusing on what's in front of you, you're not going to hit the next stage and you're just going to go back to what you started at. And that was really striking for me because often especially when you're same thing with lifting, boys. Now you just did your bench 250, but you never took some time to recover, to step back, to go forward again, right? You're never going to move forward. You're always going to be you're just going to be in that same spot. So it's finding a way to celebrate what you've achieved, but also take some time to continue moving forward because forward is an absolute and forward is inevitable. Yesterday's already happened. You've already accomplished yesterday. Don't get caught up in it because you can stay there too long. And next thing you know, like, holy fuck, I'm back to where I was yesterday. Right. So, all right. Scott Shetler's in the green room. I see Scotty in the green room there. What's going on, Scott? I see guys. We got Scott in the green room on the horizontal feed and the vertical feed, which is fantastic. And we got Amy coming in with, and Amy's like, I agree. What is in front of me is maintaining those habits. And that's it. Johnny talked about it, right? Is Amy, just keep those good habits you got coming in and just keep them going. That to me is what's the hardest thing to do, but also the most successful thing to do. All right, before we get to the accountability check-in, I want to throw this on the table, boys. Cardiologists are warning against drinking this certain type of coffee. What is it? Now I'm gonna state an obvious. But sometimes we need to state obviouses to
obviouses? Is that a word?
Is that a word? It's a word this morning, Marty.
I don't think that's a word.
Sometimes we need to state the obviouses as a plural.
Hey, John, he's speaking Canadian.
Yeah, that's it. To make that over.
Yeah, that's it. The nut little bastard's developing his own language.
All right, boys. The worst types of coffee for heart health is, and this is the obvious one, but boys and girls, as you go to get your coffee today, make it black. Make it black. You start junking in that highly sweetened specialty drinks like, Marty, I know your favorites, man, the caramel macchiato or the blended frappuccinos. They're going to do more harm than good. So boys, as you're going through today and you're making that decision, I implore you, I encourage you, I advise you, just put the crap away and start black. Just go to black. You'll never go back. Just have black coffee. Yes, Marty, I said that. Just have black coffee. Period. Simple.
Marty, we're not. It's not a sex conversation, brother. It's not supposed to be offensive. Don't worry, bro.
Just have black coffee, boys. Put the sugar away. Put the creamer away. Put the good habits here, Marty. We're talking habits, Marty. Have black.
Keith. Keith, we're actually not talking about sex today, but you got to find a way to bring it in the convo.
Hey, just go for black coffee.
That's right.
No, you're right though. You're right.
And you get the stir stick that looks like a baby's arm holding an apple.
Oh man. Oh my God. What's up with these guys?
Johnny, are you talking about Marty again? We always seem to find a way to talk about
Marty here, man.
All right, boys and girls, we got Scott Shetler coming up here in a minute. We're going to do the accountability check. And Jimmy, let's get these boys off the stage. Yeah, they're always telling me to get off the stage, so I'm going to tell them to get the hell off the stage today. Listen, again, stop putting that crap in your coffee, you guys. True story. I know it's fun. I know it's enjoyable. It tastes good, the sweetness. And maybe once in a while you might want to do that. But I know some of you guys, because I've been there. Been there. Although I never have drank coffee with cream and sugar in it. Nope. When I met Lauren, and Lauren's like, hey, we're drinking coffee. I'm like, oh, we're drinking coffee? She's like, yeah. But got a coffee machine and have only drunk black coffee. Drunk. Okay, here is our accountability check-in today. Boom, 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 boom. I used to think. I don't think anymore. I just talk. I used to think success was about the target. But here's what I learned through my journey. That hitting a goal, it feels great. Right, Amy? It feels great. That goal you hit is great, but it's not enough. No, baby. That excitement's going to fade. You might feel stuck, like something's missing, even after the big win. So here's the truth. It's not the goal that changes your life. No, it's the habits. Yes. The habits you build along the way. We're going to ask about habits of Scott Shetler coming up in a few moments. I'm certain those habits helped him create the success that he wanted, because habits create success. Period. Simple, point blank. Habits create real, lasting change. Anything else is fleeting. Like Johnny says, don't judge them by what they've achieved. Judge them by the habits that they went through to achieve the success. That's where sustainable success lives. The goal is just a checkpoint, you guys. Amy, today's a checkpoint. You know it. I know it. Everybody knows it. It's a milestone for you. Losing weight, it's about daily consistency. Growing a business, to those of you tuning in today, Mike Smart, systems, they keep us moving. Strong relationships, it's those small, steady efforts. Those are habits. Telling your partner you love them, sending them a little love note, right? Those little habits that you do. When I shifted my thought process from goals to habits, that for me, Business Athlete Nation, is when my life changed. Focusing on the daily habits, the boring, the mundane. And what it did for me is that it stopped being about winning once, and it became about growing every single day. So listen, I invite you to think about this. What's something you've leaned and learned recently that changed how you see success? Let's hear about it in the comments this morning on Mornings in a Lab with Keith and Friends. All right, Jimmy, let's bring in the crew here, and we're going to bring in Scott Shetler here in a second. Johnny, Scott Shetler, how are you, pal?
I'm doing well.
Scott, what's up, brother?
Hey, John, how you doing, man?
Good, brother.
So, Scotty, I found you on Substack.
Yeah.
I found you picking up some big, heavy stones.
Back in the day.
And I said to myself, I know a young man that I spend every morning with who's picked up a few heavy stones in his.
What's up, Scott?
How you doing, man?
And I said to myself, we got to have Scott Shetler on the show to learn about the heavy stones he picks up, talks about his life, and get to know Scott a little bit. But before we do that, I want to invite you to congratulate you for being on the show. I'm looking for a word here, boys. I'm missing my coffee.
Speaking Canadian, man.
Exactly. I wanted to say thank you for being on the show here this morning with us. And Scott, we always start our guests off with one question before we go into everything else. And that one question, Scott, is this. What is your morning routine, brother?
My morning routine was interrupted today, actually, because we got some snow and ice down here in Atlanta. So usually it's jiu-jitsu at 6:30 in the morning. And then I usually do some strength training or conditioning. Then I get cleaned up, get a shower, get some coffee and post-workout protein drink. And then I go start training my clients for the day. So nice. It's pretty consistent.
Yeah. You guys near snow and ice in Atlanta. Yeah. So I'm up here in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Scott, where I got your old Atlanta Thrashers here. So I do know about snow and ice, of course. But so Scott, we're talking habits today. We're talking about morning habits. We're talking about creating habits for a better life. Scott, has this morning routine always been part of you, or was there a moment in your life where you woke up and you're like, I need to create one because my shit's going sideways? Scott.
No, in fact, I'd say that the ability to get up and get going, was really forced on me when I joined the military out of high school. Yeah. And then when I started my business and got into the strength training and fitness world, that's when I really, the day's so busy and so unpredictable. You really need that time in the morning to get prepared for the day and for everything that you got to do. And I see that with so many of my clients, actually, the ones that get their workout, their exercise done in the morning, they don't have to worry about those things that pop up later in the day. I'm just going to go to the gym after work. I'm going to go get it done later. Well, something always happens later. They end up missing it. Their schedule gets thrown into chaos. The ones that I work with who get up in the morning and get it done, they usually have a better day. They've got more energy and their day's a little bit more consistent, because they don't have that interruption when they get it done first thing in the morning.
Boys?
Yeah, I was going to say. Yeah, I was going to say. Go
ahead.
You want to go ahead, John? Okay, all right.
I'm actually just agreeing because I'm wanting to ask a question about prior more about the picking up rocks and shit like that. So I'll let you respond to this one.
Yeah, I just had a quick response. I was going to say that's why I only train morning clients. Those tend to be the more serious people. They stick with it longer.
That's a great fucking filter. That's a great fucking filter right there. Holy shit. I never thought about that. For an in-person guy, only do in the morning, that gets rid of a lot of fucking trouble right there.
2 hours in the morning, I'm good. All that afternoon, they tend not to be as serious. And they tend to be, what would you just say? Focus on habits instead of goals. What was that, Keith?
Yeah.
They don't focus on the habits. They just looking at the big picture and not trying to do the small things to get to it.
I like that a lot, actually. That's the whole reason for our morning show, too, because I believe in the mornings as well. We all do. But the mornings is where your habits start. And I love that, Johnny, because if you don't want to subscribe to joining me in the morning, go find somebody else. Scott, what do you think?
And for a business person, that sometimes they resonate with different types of progress or currency. Fuck, I would say I make my money in the morning, man.
Yes, absolutely. That's exactly it. Scott, what do you say when what do you think about when you hear Marty say that?
No, I've got clients all day. I'd say the morning ones tend to be more consistent because my later days, my later afternoons, evenings, those are the people that do work in business. They're the ones that maybe have some travel, that maybe have some other commitments that pop up. So there's usually a little bit more rescheduling, a little bit more, reshuffling appointments with people. I'm not going to say they're not dedicated. It's just their business, their work. Sometimes it takes them, on the road, out of the country. I mean, there's just less consistency with their day. But props to them for wanting to get it done when they're able to.
Yeah. So Scott, let's get into picking stones, man. Let's get into what brought you here, and let's get into why I was like, hey, I'm curious about this dude. So, strongman. What got you into picking up stones? What got you into the whole idea of picking up heavy stones? And Martin, I'll sit back and let you and Johnny get into the heavy stone discussion here. But let's talk about it, Scotty.
It wasn't. I mean, I've always liked strongman. I used to compete in powerlifting back in the day, but it was honestly meeting Steve Jeck, who's he passed away a few years ago. John, the name probably might ring a bell with you. I mean, he's a little bit more old school. He was
real quick. What federation did you back in the day? What federation did you compete with? Because that was just when there was just a few. Now there's fucking hundreds of them.
So where I'm at in Atlanta, the two most prevalent ones were the WNPF and the APF AAPF. So I competed in both of those.
How long ago was this, roughly?
2003, 2004 through about 2007, 2008. Yeah.
So that was actually because if you follow it back a little further, that was when there was just like one or two.
Yeah. I don't know. Do you remember John? Do you remember John Grove from North Georgia Barbell?
I don't. The name doesn't ring a bell. I was more in strongman than powerlifting. Yeah. I remember the powerlifters from way back, like before when there was just like one or two federations. Yeah. That's that like Doyle Kennedy, guys like that.
He was awesome.
Oh yeah. I mean, that was unfortunately what happens is these sports like powerlifting, such a great sport, really got diluted because people came in, saw it as a business opportunity, and they started making all these new federations. So now all of a sudden you got first there was 1 or 2 world champions. Yep. It was really cool. And then all of a sudden now there's 10. Now, what would you say now? There's probably
25, 27 different feds. And then you've got all the divisions in each federation, so you've got the possibility for what? 6,600 like world champions and national champions in one federation alone. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, back in the day, you go far enough back, there were fucking weight classes, man. Who could pick up the heaviest fucking barbell? Yeah, that was what it was really cool, And but powerlifting is a great sport. Yeah, it's a great sport. It was just sad to see it start to get diluted,
Yeah, and it's a good base for it. I mean, it's your base, right? You got a strong press, you got a strong deadlift, you got a strong squat. I mean, that's your base, And so everything else you choose to do, whether you want to get into stone lifting, whether you want to play sports, well, whatever it is, that's just such a solid base of strength. So I think even for people that don't want to compete, I think those movements are really key, for your training.
Well, I mean, think about it. Deadlifts, you're picking something off the ground. Squat, you're taking a dump. I mean, the bench press is really the only one that doesn't apply much unless you're talking about humping and holding yourself up over your lady. But I guess it does apply.
There's some times in jiu-jitsu when I'm under some of my bigger, heavier training partners, like
having
that pressing strength is good. So.
Hey, you're hanging out with Keith, Marty, John, and our guest Scott Shetler this morning. We're talking good habits, bad habits. We're talking lifting heavy stuff, power lifting heavy stones. Good morning, Cosmic Vision. I see you there in the comments. Listen, if you're tuning in this morning, I invite you to subscribe to our channel. Mornings are live with Keith and Friends, the only morning conversation for men. Scott, we started the show back in March, and we're growing this baby. We wake up every single day with a mission to help men like you, me, John, Marty, to help get their hit audacious goals and have conversations that others aren't having anywhere else in the world. We're having here on the show. Scott, so what got you into lifting? Like what got you into creating habits around strength? And I want to stay there because we know that strength and resistance training is frankly the lifeblood to longevity. We need to stay strong to live longer. Somewhere in your journey in life, you recognize that. And you're like, yeah, I'm going to go lift weights, lift stones, lift weights. Were you 12, 15, 20? Like what struck the chord, Scott? And then I got to crack a joke with you, brother. And then you start becoming a writer. From my world, I don't know many guys like Jon Andersen and Big that are fucking writing. So I'm just joking with my brother over here, but you're creating good content that you write about as well, Scotty. So there's the two-part question. What got you into lifting? And then what moved into becoming a literary artist?
Sure, man. Like a lot of people born in the 70s, I grew up with the Arnold movies, the Stallone movies. Yeah. And it was back then. It was really about the bodybuilding culture. Yes. We had the magazines. Yes. You had occasionally on TV, you might see the Mr. Olympia or the American Muscle TV show with Tom Swilliger and all that stuff. So that was my introduction into it. And being a skinny kid, you want to put on muscle. You see all your action heroes, you see comic book characters. You want to start getting bigger, and then I think for me, later on when I started focusing a little bit more on strength training and a little bit less on just, building muscle, I really started to enjoy the process, because strength is very measurable, whereas bodybuilding is very subjective. Yeah. And I love the idea that, if I'm deadlifting 300 pounds, well, in a couple months, now I'm deadlifting 350 pounds. That's progress. It's very easy to see that weight coming on the bar. So that became fun. And then I got into the competing for a little while, that led me down my career path, where I got into fitness training and eventually strength training. I started working with a lot of athletes, which was a lot of fun because again, you're doing something that has an immediate impact on their performance. Yeah. So for a lot of my career, I was working with a lot of athletes in a variety of sports, led me to martial arts and things like that a little bit later on. But it was after probably about 12, 15 years of training, I started having all these ideas and I started writing as a way for me just to categorize the things that I was learning and the things that I wanted to share with my clients. So I started blogging, I started writing training books, training manuals and stuff like that. And then eventually, I found that I really enjoyed expressing those ideas. And that eventually led me down to Substack, which is, I've been doing my Substack page for a little under 2 years now. And this is a lot of fun, man. It's a way for me to take 26 years of experience and nonsense in my head and try to categorize it on paper so others can benefit.
Oh, I love it. Hey, Scotty, so we had you in for a 13-minute segment here, but we're coming up to the CMartyFit tip. Are you able to stick around for the next segment? We're talking habits with us, another 13 minutes or so, or do you got to rock and roll?
Yeah, no, man, I'm good. Like I said, we got a snow day, so.
Beautiful. So we'll do that here. Before we get over to CMartyFit tip here, I got a question from the comments here, boys. We talked about this before with our friend Jorie Janzen. Let's quickly dive in for about 90 seconds about creatine. Scott, do you use creatine?
I do.
What do you what form of creatine do you use?
I use just the straight up creatine monohydrate powder. I take usually about 10 grams a day. I don't really I just try to take it in the morning so I don't forget it. But yeah, 10 grams a day.
Yeah. Pros, cons, game changer for you?
I've been using creatine for so long. I don't think I notice much of a performance benefit anymore because it's just been so saturated in my system. I've always been on it. Did notice a big bump initially. Back when I started taking it, you still did like the loading phases and all that. So if you've ever loaded creatine for the first time, you feel like you put on about 8-10 pounds of saturated muscle. But no, man, I just it's one of my daily staples. I don't get too caught up in the research and stuff, but you're starting to hear some benefits that go outside the performance arena. With cognitive benefits and stuff like that. So I think it's very interesting.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
For the listeners, just so the listeners know, when he said he doesn't notice the benefits anymore, it's because he continues to do it. So what creatine is doing is pulling water into the muscle, which allows the muscle to perform better. So when he continues to do it, if he stopped, he would notice a little decrease, and if he restarted, he would notice the increase. But it's all about pulling water into the muscle. But yeah, I so agree, brother. Now, they've proven cognitive function.
Yeah.
So as soon as I was never a big creatine guy, especially because it got introduced way back when you had to load it. And it was a pain in the ass. But as soon as they said cognitive, now part of my goal is to live as long as I can. So, creatine's at my fingertips. So, and it's reasonably priced. So it's a great option now.
Sure. Good morning, Jeremy Cunningham. I see you there in the comments.
What's up, Jeremy?
Here, pal. I'm really pleased to have you there in the comments. Amy, I hope that answered your question. And I think what I like about that question, and I hope what that also accentuates is just this idea of habits, right? And Johnny, and Scott, we know that if we add that supplement to our daily habits, there's going to be a benefit to it, right? So, and there's going to be cognitive benefits to it. So there's a great example of some technical knowledge of getting some creatine, try it out. Don't worry about loading it. And boys, there's two types, right? There's the monohydrate, which bloats you, and there's the non-monohydrate that doesn't bloat you. Am I correct on that, boys?
Well, I think the simplest thing is for people, just remember the one you want to use is number one, mono. Forget everything else. Number one, mono.
Beautiful.
And it's not bad. Literally, when I started reusing it, I literally just take a tablespoon, put it in my mouth, drink down a thing of coffee, and it's done.
You put it in your mouth.
Dry scooping it ensures you get every bit of it, right, John?
Well, it was just, my thing is I don't want to forget to do it. So I just do it right out of bed with my first drink of coffee and it's over.
Coming soon, creatine-inspired toothpaste from Jon Andersen.
You spit that out, it doesn't work. You spit toothpaste out of teeth. Are you one of those poor bastards that eat your toothpaste? Do you still eat your toothpaste?
Keith probably does. Yeah, he probably does.
Jesus Christ. Yeah. Stop using the one that tastes like fucking Fruity Pebbles then. Jesus Christ.
Right. He's going to say the Canadian toothpaste is edible.
Out of here. Marty's got a fit tip. We're going to come back. Keep talking habit stacking with Scott Shetler. Get out of here, you guys.
Hey, Keith, I had to get you back because you was clowning me when Mike wasn't on this morning, so I had to get you back. Anyway, all right, we got the fit tip for today. Simple, like always. Win the day. Why do you say win the day, Chris? I'm about to tell you. So a lot of people, let's say everyone's doing 75 hard now. That's like the popular thing, right? A lot of people fall off because they're focused on the 75 days. Dang, 75 days, that's pretty far from now. Or, you get a new trainer. They tell you, give me 90 days. We'll see a change. 90 days, that's pretty far from now, right? And it is pretty far, right? It seems like it's a long time, but you have to focus on winning the first day, winning the second day. That's going to make your process easier when you just focus on one day. If you think, oh man, I'm putting the alcohol down for this amount of weeks, I'm putting the alcohol down for this amount of days, I don't know if I could do that. You got the wrong mindset, and you're more likely to fall off of your goals. And if you look at it like one small win is a big win, like we just talked about, pat yourself on the back, celebrate a little bit after you win the day, that's cool. You can acknowledge that and feel great about it. Now let's get back to work and attack the next day, right? It's always one day at a time, and you got to look at your fitness journey like you look at your investments. Compound interest. Those days are going to stack, going to stack, going to stack, going to stack. Then you're going to get better mentally and physically. So focus on one day at a time. Don't worry about the big picture, because if you keep winning one day, you're going to get to the big picture. You're going to get to the big goal or whatever it is you're trying to get. That's the fitness tip for today.
Marty's giving you an economics lesson this morning, boys, on the economics of compound interest, compound habits. And I like that, Marty, because the idea of compounding habits is powerful, isn't it? Because you stay on a habit over and over and over, and Scott talked about progress. Inevitably, you're going to achieve what you're looking to achieve. Let's keep the conversation going around habits and habit stacking. And I know that John's a major fan of that. Scott, when you hear the idea of habit stacking and creating good habits, and when you're working with your clients, what are some of the biggest obstacles that you find a client comes to you and is like, Scott, I can't do that, or I'm struggling with that, or this isn't working for me? What are you telling somebody about habits? Scott Shetler. Good morning, Shinko. I see you there, brother.
I don't know so much about like hurdles or roadblocks that they come across, but the biggest thing that I promote is consistency over intensity. I think that's really important. If you take that, just to your training, right? If you're gonna go into the weight room for the first time, if you just go in and say, hey, I'm gonna try squatting, and you just squat for an hour straight, your legs are gonna be wrecked, and it might be another week, might be another 10 days before you train in your legs again. Whereas I look at how I look at like frequency, right? If we can do something more repeatedly, we're going to get better at it. So I've always kind of adopted the idea of consistency over intensity. And that's when you start to build a habit. The more frequently you do something, it's like sport practice. You're going to get better at playing tennis if you just play every Monday or every other Monday, or you're going to get better if you play a little bit every day and you work on skill development and skill acquisition. So I take those ideas and I implement them into the whole fitness process.
We talked about it a couple of days ago. Scott, Marty threw it out there, which is consistent sevens is better than a 1 here, a 10 there, a 9 there, a 0 there, and Marty's like, 100%. Consistent sevens.
Yeah,
you're of the belief, Scott, and we talk about this often, which is this idea of showing up, right? Showing up is the hardest thing for much of us to do. If we can get into that habit of showing up, that's when the magic happens, isn't it, Scott?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Good morning, strategic veteran Adam Peters. I see in the comments about brother. I'm happy you're joining us here this morning on the show. Johnny, let's keep our conversation going around habits, John, and giving somebody something to think about as they're going through their day today, and they're struggling to start a habit. And that's the point, John. They're struggling to start a good habit. What would you say to that person?
First, it needs to be very easy and very simple, because what you're really trying to do is let's use an example of like somebody that wants to be active. They just want to be active. Let's say this. Okay, so let's not worry about going to the gym. Let's worry about walking. You don't have to go anywhere. Just literally walk. You can walk outside. If it's too cold, walk inside. And what I mean by it, you're just going to start off every day. You're going to have a non-negotiable walking 1 minute, 60 seconds. The odds are by about 58, 59 seconds, you think, shit, maybe I'll go for another minute. And sometimes you go for another. Next thing you know, you're walking for 10 minutes, then it turns 20, 30. But you've mastered the art of your non-negotiable of showing up for 1 minute. That's the key. It needs to be so easy to get that win that you can't not do it. And then when you decide at 58 seconds you want to go for another minute, now this has become something you want to do rather than something you feel like you have to do. You say, I'm going to walk for 60 minutes every day.
Yep.
That's a big fucking nut.
Yep.
A lot of people are that's they get all fired up. They're disgusted with themselves. Okay, I'm going to just attack this. Okay, well, attack it in a way. Don't think about attack it in 60 minutes. Think about attack this in a way where I can do this every day. And the habit you need is just to be showing up. Just like Scott said, he preaches the consistency. And so that's what I would suggest. And then how do you trigger it? You stack the habit. So maybe you want to be active. You say, okay, I'm going to have a non-negotiable of 1 minute to walk. You'll probably do more, which is great. What's the trigger? Okay, well, you do plenty of things already. You brush your teeth. So brush your teeth, take your 1 minute walk. There you go.
Yeah. So I like one thing that John's taught, Marty, as we've been on the show with Johnny, is associating habits with something you already do. Because John, I never thought about that before. You know, let me rephrase that. Yes, I've thought about it before, but not the way that you articulated it, right? Which is, okay, so you're brushing your teeth, step after brush teeth, doing this. Because we get trained as kids growing up, brush your teeth, make your bed, tie your shoes, like these certain things. But us as parents, we might not offer the second thing, right? Hey, brush your teeth, go for a walk for 5 minutes. Oh.
Yeah. I mean, anything that we all have things that we do every day.
The non-negotiables. Yeah.
I mean, literally, there's things that we do. So all you got to do is take the new activity and stack it right behind, because that's the activity that you currently, that's the trigger. Boom. Once the trigger's off, now you sub the new activity in, and then it just, I mean, it could be break at work. You get a break at work every day. Boom. There's your trigger. Go for your fucking walk. Yeah. So many ways to do it. You just have to kind of break it down into the simplest, easiest format. And what you're doing is you're developing the habit of showing up by a habit stack with a trigger of another habit.
Yeah. Good morning, Scott Benzie. I see there in the comments, Adam Peters offers up a solution, boys, which is read Atomic Habits by James Clear. He reads it every time he wants to start a new habit. And Adam Horowitz joining us from work here this morning, checking in with us and hanging out. For me, what I find, and Scott, I'd like to get your point of view on this too, is and Johnny alluded to it. If I don't want to go for a 30-minute walk, even though I need to or I should, I will pause and reflect on my day, and I'll think, okay, so I got this meeting here, I'm working here, I'm going to be sitting. Holy fuck, man! I actually have all the time to go for a 30-minute walk right now. Or I'll say to myself, I need to do 45 minutes of yoga right now. I'll start with 15 minutes. And then, because 15 minutes is nothing. Or 5 minutes, to John's point, right? You do it, you're like, holy fuck, I still got more to do. 10 minutes. It's funny what you can do when you stack 10 5-minute things. You've done 50 minutes of work. But we don't think that way, Scott Shetler.
No, and going back to the point about, do I need to get a 30-minute walk or a 45-minute walk? Why not take 3 10-minute walks, throughout the day?
Yeah.
And I mean, I remember one time I was working with somebody and they said, man, what if I only had 10 minutes to exercise? That's all I got. What am I going to do?
Perfect.
Yeah. Take 2 kettlebells and do clean and jerks or clean and presses for 10 minutes without stopping, and tell me how you feel afterwards. Yeah. Is it perfect? Maybe not. But did you get something done? A lot more than just sitting there wondering what you could have done, right? So I think you got to get out of this mindset of saying, I got to go to the gym and I got to work out for 60 minutes. Or 45 minutes, or else my workout's ineffective. And that's nonsense. Break it up into smaller chunks. I've heard people call like movement breaks or movement snacks or something like that. Do 5 to 10 minutes periodically throughout the day. And then at the end of the day, you might have accumulated 30 or 40 minutes of exercise. Might not have been all at once, but who cares? That's a lot more than not doing anything because you don't think you have the perfect situation.
And think of it like this, guys, in terms of when I'm talking to the, people that are trying to get into the game here. Keep your barrier of entry very low. Don't set this fucking hurdle that holy shit, I got to climb this big wall every time to get started. No, that 1 minute is a really, really low barrier of entry. Once you're in, now you're going to probably want to do more. And that's really the psychological play we're making here.
Marty, you got something there?
No, I agree with Johnny. Well, once you start one good habit, you're going to want more. You're going to want to do more things. So you start working out. You start with cardio. You might want to lift. Right? You've been lifting for a long time. You might want to start stretching and get into some yoga or something like that. So those habits are going to lead to other great habits.
A trick that I would offer the audience, and we got a bunch of people tuning in right now to consider, boys, is we as humans. Here's some language teams. If you got kids around, here's my language. We waste so much fucking time throughout the day. Right? Oh, the meeting ended 10 minutes early, so we go and jerk off for 10 minutes. No, go for a walk. Right?
That's what we talked about yesterday when we were saying people at work are only productive for 3 hours of the day.
It's the same thing, right? So I'm offering this up, guys, because you're going to go through your day today, and you're going to find 5 minutes here, 6 minutes there, 3 minutes here. Hey, Scott, I can see you nodding there. And you take this 3 minutes here, 7 minutes there, 5 minutes there. And before you know it, you got your 30 minutes of movement or 45 minutes of movement. And it really plays on Scott's concept of if you don't think you have 45 minutes throughout your day, you do. Because if you go find 5 there, 5 there, 5 there, it all adds up, doesn't it, Scott?
It does, and I think it's getting out of, like I said earlier, getting out of that mindset, that I have to train my chest, then my shoulders, then my triceps, then my biceps. I mean, there's times periodically where my days are so busy with clients, I'll just do a little bit in between breaks, man. I might go do a few sets of pull-ups. I might, grab some Indian clubs and do some shoulder mobility work. I got out of this idea that I've got to hit my squat on this day, my deadlift on this day, my bench on this day. And you just find out you can get so much more done when you're not married to this idea of a perfect workout,
Yes. Yeah. We're talking habits this morning, gentlemen. Amy Reiner comes in with a comment here. Don't make clothes the barrier of entry. Yeah. Always be ready. That's certainly something to be said for that, right? If you got your clothes ready, got your shoes ready, right? Your door, you got your mindset ready. You're not going to have a barrier to creating a habit.
Or I don't have any workout clothes.
Right.
That's another one I've gotten before. Yeah.
Oh, is that right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And we got Shinku coming in with consistency over intensity is true in my experience. The times I went hard in the gym for 3 hours wouldn't let me work out for over a week too sore. Yeah, it's certainly the thing, right? It's consistent instead of going too hard for one day and then packing it up for the next. So, all right. So we're going to move over to, we got Scott Benzie. It's Uncle Keith. It's hump day today. No share comments today. Thanks, Scott. Yeah. Listen, I never thought we'd be putting together a morning show for men and talking about share and singing, do you believe in life after love? That's exactly how all right, listen, Jorie Janzen's coming up here. We're going to wrap up with Scott Shetler. Scotty, where can the folks from our show find you? How can they connect with you? Some final comments from Scott Shetler this morning on Mornings in the Lab. Brother.
Sure. Thanks for having me on, guys. It's been awesome talking with you. The best ways to find me, I've got my Substack page, which is the Strength and Health Substack. And then probably outside of that, my website is eptsgym.com. And then I'm probably, as far as social media goes, I'm most active on my Instagram, which is at @SShetlerFitness. So those are probably the best ways to hook up.
Awesome. We'll come find you on Instagram and on Substack and so forth. And Scott, this is your first time here. Did you enjoy your experience?
I did. It was great talking with you guys. Really, really cool topics and an awesome way to start the day when I'm not on the mats doing jiu-jitsu because of the snow day. So
we'd love to have you back. We're looking to keep growing our presence on Substack. So anything we can do collaboratively with you there, supporting each other, that'd be awesome, brother.
Let me know, man. I'm down for it. So
let's do that. And let's get you back here on the show to have some further conversations. Okay, brother?
I'd love to. Thank you, guys.
All right, Scott.
Nice to meet you, Scott. Thank you, man.
Likewise.
All right, Scott's getting out of here. I'm going to get out of here. Marty's going to get out of here. Johnny's got something to say, and then we're going to come up. We're going to talk meal prep. We're talking habits today. Johnny, Marty, I think one of the greatest habits we can do to have success is prepping our meals and prepping our food. So we can't say, Johnny, I got nothing to eat. Coming up, Jorie Johnson. We're going to talk meal prep. But first, we got Jon Andersen with the lifestyle tip. Let's get after it, brother.
Massive progress hack. Why do we want to win the morning? Because if we win the morning, we're going to own the day. We're going to have a good day. If we have a good day can turn into a good week. A good week can turn into a good month. A good month can turn into a good year. And a good year can change the rest of your life. So it all starts with one simple thing. Get up and win the morning. Rock and roll.
Win the morning with Jon Andersen. That's the tip today. Sometimes we just need to hear some words of encouragement to get after what we want to get after this morning. We're
little extension of Marty's deal. I kind of just ran with that, just took that a little left turn, Hey,
man, I was singing along with Johnny. That's my favorite quote.
There you go. Hey, we got Jorie joining us this morning. What's going on there, kid? Good to have you here this morning. How are you?
What's up, Jorie?
I'm good. Talking about figuring out how to get activity in your day. Well, I had to shovel twice yesterday by myself. So
did Kurt
that's some activity.
Kurt, so boys, we know that Jorie's husband was leaving town last weekend. Did he get out of town?
He did. The flight was delayed a couple times, but he made it, and Allery and I are looking forward to him being home Thursday. So.
There you go. Yeah, so he can help shovel the snow there that Jorie
basically so he can shovel the snow.
Hey, that is an underrated workout, shoveling snow.
Oh, man.
I bent and lifted,
I mean,
I
man.
got so many clients that live on the East Coast, and one of the things they say to me is they're like, I have never been able to shovel my driveway this easy. One of my clients actually shoveled his, and then two of his neighbors, because they're older ladies that their husband, they're widows. He's like, I never even dreamed that I could shovel 3 driveways, and I'm like, that's amazing. That's like a 400% increase because he could finish his own to begin with.
I'm gonna add in real quick. It is a blessing because anytime the older ladies see me shoveling at my mom's house, they're like, "Hey, can you come help me, please?" I'm like, I got you. Come on.
You're outside and your neighbors. Well, I have neighbors around me. Some people don't, but and they are watching, right? So you can't give up. You gotta keep going.
You gotta keep going. Exactly.
Can't give up. We got Shinku coming in saying, Jorie giving you the strong arms there. So, we got Jorie who's regularly showing up with us. We love our conversation with Jorie. She's got the audience here. Oh, Shinku's like, my sister lives in Chicago. I can't deal with snow. But Jorie, I got to get you on my team for a second. When I hear Marty talking about shoveling snow, I'm like, really? Like, I want to. Like,
whoa!
I need to do this.
Oh, don't do me like that, Keith. Come on, man. We get some snow out here, man. It's not Winnipeg, though. It definitely ain't Winnipeg.
So listen, guys, we're gonna talk. We've been talking habits all morning. And
real quick.
Yeah.
I need y'all to tell me about the dinner because I couldn't make it that Monday after y'all had dinner. So after though, we'll talk about it after. Yeah.
So we're talking habits today, Jorie, and good habits and how to create good habits for a better life. And I think that I'm suspecting that one of the obstacles that you have when you talk to customers, I know that Marty does and Johnny does, is food. And not having the right food ready, not having it ready when I want to eat, not having it ready when I want to make good decisions. So today I thought we could talk for a few minutes, Jorie, and create some conversation around this idea of meal prep.
Yeah.
Where do you want to start, kid?
Where I'd like to start is that people assume because I work with food that I love cooking. Let's clear that up right now. No. I don't. The other thing is I also don't like shoveling.
Oh, man. You've been busy, Jorie.
Both have to happen. But the key is to, be flexible with what this looks like for you. Right. Some people, one week they have the kids, the other week they don't. Yeah. Or, if you're just cooking for yourself only, then you don't want to eat the same thing 4 days in a row. So it's being flexible, or maybe you have like a family of 5. Can't imagine. But actually I can. I watch my sister. But I think it's important to be flexible and start where you're at. So, one thing would be, maybe it's not a huge variety right now. It's what can you cook in large amounts, like your proteins.
Yes.
A bunch of that. And I do this because, busyness or just the desire, not the desire to keep cooking all the time. I'll take chicken and cook a bunch of that up and freeze them in Ziploc bags, or if you have some other good sealable containers, then you have the option of it's already cooked and it's not all going to taste the same. You flavor them all up differently. Same thing with your potatoes, rice, all of those things you can do some bulk meal prep. If you're not a bulk meal prep kind of person, then there are some other things that you can do depending on budget. I used to say lazy, wasn't really good for business, so I decided resourceful. And so I will go and purchase bags of frozen vegetables, frozen fruit, grab and go. I'll have leftover sweet potatoes and I'll grab a couple of handfuls of frozen vegetables and leftover chicken from the previous meal, throw it all together, right? It doesn't have to be, fresh and or beautiful looking all the time. It's nice when it looks good, but sometimes it doesn't. Canned chickpeas, open that up. Maybe you bought some cherry tomatoes that you don't have to cut up. And then, maybe some cucumber and celery, and your favorite olive oil and some garlic.
Yeah.
You don't even have to cook. It just, just trying to think about what can you do. And of course there's kitchen equipment that you can get to.
Yes. John, you're a big fan of meal prep. Marty, I know you are as well. John, are you Jorie alluded to it. Are you a cooking it all on Sunday for the week? Are you a Sunday, Wednesday person? Are you guys like, how do you, give our audience some tactics, tips on how to do meal prep to create good habits, Johnny?
Well, for those that recognize what day of the week it is, yes, I would suggest Sunday and possibly Wednesday. For me, I just every time it's time to cook, we just cook everything we can get on the grill. And so, but realistically, I suggest the same thing for a person. A client, I'm gonna say, look, Sunday, find your day. You're gonna do the bulk of your meal prep that day. You'll probably have to do a second day, but cooking every day wears people out. I mean, you're putting in, I don't know what the percentage would be, but it's massively more work. And not to say that you don't have those hot meals with your family or whatnot, but when you're talking about, meals that you got to get in as part of the plan or on the run, those should be pre-made and pre-prepared, but they should come from a bulk cooking or 2 bulk cooking sessions.
Jorie.
Yeah, I love it. And sometimes it's not even the main supper meal that's the issue. It's that it is what Jon said, like the in between. So it's planning and preparing for that. And so something as simple as overnight oats, that's really, really easy to do. My mom was over the other day and she needed a snack that she was trying to make some better choices. And so I just whipped up some no-bake energy bites and it took like 2 minutes to make.
Yes.
And so these things aren't hard to do. You can make a lot of them. They freeze. The overnight oats, it's, stick it in the fridge. You can make a couple of them at once. Egg bites are quite popular too. If you have a muffin tin, you can make a bunch of egg bites. There's just things that you can do for the in-between meals to keep you on track. If you're someone that has to go out a lot, you're driving from one destination to the other, and you're like, shoot, I don't have a snack. Even if you have to hit the grocery store, you can pick up some hummus. There's, baby carrots, that cherry tomatoes that you can open up and start munching on some of those, match it up with maybe you pick up the bulk bin and get some nuts, and so you can get those nice high fiber, high protein snacks in between to curb that appetite. It's just taking in, what is it that I can do right now and planning it out. You don't have to work every single body part every day.
Yes.
In terms of your workouts. So you don't have to be all ready for every single meal and every snack when you're starting. You start to figure out what are your easy go-to ideas. Just something. What's one meal or snack you want to be prepared for this week? And build.
I think, Jorie, from what all three of you were saying is, and at least I've utilized it in my experience, is the meal prep is the best when it helps you eat throughout the entire day. Don't necessarily focus on that meal prep being your family dinner, because that might be something you want to sit down and have with your family, but focus on that meal prep being something you're eating when you're coming out of the gym at noon or at 3 o'clock in the afternoon or later in the evening, having protein available, having those snacks, that food available so that you can stay, it's just like, the good, again, back to habit, the good habits that I've gotten into just by us talking, frankly, is I make sure I have 6 eggs ready to go every time I go upstairs. True story, Marty. I just do. I'm like, you know what?
Do you freeze?
I'm just gonna have 6 eggs made, and and then when I go upstairs after I'm done down here, they're there for me, Jorie. But what it does for me is that it allows me to have that good food, the habit solved, and then I don't stress too much about when I have dinner with the family because I know I've got my good food in. And it kind of takes an 80-20 principle, right? Which is 80% of the content I've made in advance. I'm eating it. When I sit down we all go for dinner on Friday night, I'm not stressing out too much about those decisions because I know I have my eggs throughout the day. I have my protein throughout the day because I made that all in advance, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And the thing, I'm sorry to interrupt you, Jorie, say, I'm sure we deal with the same thing. People, they want to sit down with their families and they want to have a meal. They don't want to be eating something totally different than their families. And it's so easy to create that flexibility where you can have that meal with your family and then you're having the food that you need throughout the day. So for the people that are thinking, I don't want to do this because, I don't want to have different food when I have dinner with my family, it doesn't have to be that way.
Yes.
Generally speaking, when people have that train of thought, they're using that as a reason not to start.
It's exactly. Jorie.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that when I'm chatting with families, I would say you're a household, you're not a restaurant, and there doesn't need to be 5 different meals at dinner time. You eat together, and they can be absolutely healthy, balanced meals, but they don't have to be what you think is a diet plan because it's the new year kind of thing. It's what do you do on a routine basis, and then getting the supplies that you need, I think, is really, really helpful. And you don't need anything. You don't have to have an air fryer, an Instapot. Do you have a baking sheet? Great, you can cook your whole meal on 1 or 2 baking sheets. Like, put everything in. Your sweet potatoes, your protein option. Maybe you're doing some other broccoli or whatever, and putting it all together, and you bake it up. It doesn't have to be, a ton of fancy equipment. What do you have? Use it. And it might be a little repetitive at first, but when you're making a larger portion, you're freezing half of it. So that way, eventually, maybe in a month or 2, you have the variety. You will get there. Just build on it, just like you're building in the gym, or if you're working out in your basement, you're building on what you're doing versus trying to do it all at once.
Marty?
Here's another interesting little story. Sorry, I just got to jump on this. So many, at least in America, so many people, you talk to them and they're making something different for their kids because the kids want to eat this. Well, if you're not making a single meal for the family, then what the hell, what's the difference? So keep that in mind. If dinner or that family meal is already a bunch of different stuff for different people, what's the difference? Again, just don't hide behind that reason to not start.
Yeah. Marty?
Yeah, I was going to say, just to rewind it a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm a Sunday, Wednesday guy because I don't like cooking a huge amount of food at one time, all on Sunday. So I'm a Sunday, Wednesday guy. And then, with my clients, when they tell me they can't meal prep and they don't have time, I tell them, oh, you don't like the meal prep? Well, you prep for that vacation.
Yeah.
You prep for the club. You prep for NFL playoff party. You're doing a lot of prepping. You're doing a lot of prepping. So I need you to prep them meals too.
That was good, brother.
Yeah, there's truth to that. There's absolute truth to that, isn't there? And Jorie, before we let you go, one last question from you, which is, I think one of the reasons people don't like meal prep is because there's this whole idea of, oh, I got to make all this food and then I have to eat all the same flavored food for a bunch of days. That's why I like what Marty said, which is like, no, I make it on Sundays and Wednesdays, because what I'm thinking, Marty, is that you're just making maybe 3 or 4 meals by the time Wednesday comes, right? So, Jorie, What do you think of somebody who's like, I don't want to eat all the same stuff all the time?
Yeah, I would say please don't. That's pretty boring. But even if it is once a week, or maybe the batch cooking happens once a month, it's the idea of maybe you have your basis of your main ingredients, but get some herbs and seasonings. Like you can make the same thing taste different, right? It doesn't have to always taste the same. Sometimes I'm going to have my egg bites spicy. Sometimes they're going to be just a little more basic but flavorful. So it's just kind of figuring out your rice bowl can be made like 20 different ways. So it's having what you need on hand so you can make the basics different.
Yes.
And venturing out, make it a challenge. Once a month, a new recipe is added to your Sunday, Wednesday meal prep.
Yeah.
So it's taking some ownership, just like your workouts. It's, sometimes you need to work the same body part, but you need a different workout.
Yes.
To spice it up.
That's exactly.
Do the same thing with your recipes. Once a month, find a new recipe, Google, look up what various, dietitians are preparing.
Yeah.
I think that's probably one of the best things. Or find someone that also enjoys cooking more than you do.
Oh.
And they will give ideas. Like I'll have clients that just don't enjoy it. And I'm like, well, our next session, why aren't we both in our own kitchens? Let's hop on Zoom and let's make a couple things together.
Brilliant.
So it just makes it a little less chore-like.
Yeah.
That's a little bit more fun and engaging. So there's different things to do.
Hey, quick, do you got a quick second to answer a question for me? Why are seed oils, for all you guys, because Johnny made some content about this as well, but there's some news coming out here this week, Jorie, that seed oils are, people are being told to avoid seed oils. Jorie, Janzen, why?
Yeah, exactly why. Honestly, you can find the research for both, but seed oils, to me, and I know it's going to be controversial for this chat, and that's fine. Yeah. But it's not new. This has been coming up for years.
Yes.
People are avoiding their seed oils, and if you want to, go ahead. But there isn't any evidence. There's some actually really healthy dynamics in terms of seed oils. So I would say if you're really that uncomfortable, or you're just following, what someone else is saying, that's okay.
Yeah.
But right now, in terms of the evidence fully supporting that, it's just not there. But I think the important thing to do is create variety.
So what I like about this story,
only ever
is it real quick? Let me ask you a question here. I've heard a lot of this, and obviously the science will tell us, but isn't a big part of this is the process, because they can do it in a way that's more unhealthy and do it in a way that is more healthy. So it's not so much, you got to look at the process of how they're doing it.
Yeah.
Is more important than the actual seed itself, the seed oil itself.
Absolutely, John. And it's the same thing even with olive oil. There's going to be some olive oils where it's going to be the packaging of it, it's the processing. Legally you can say it's olive oil and you don't necessarily know how pure it is. So that's why I say nothing is 100% awesome, and most things aren't 100% horrible either. So it's creating that balance and making sure that you have variety, because if you're only sticking with one thing, then you're limiting your options. So I haven't seen that seed oils lead to inflammation, all this kind of stuff. I would look at the whole picture, not one piece of the puzzle. And I honestly believe that it's the variety is key.
Well, it's interesting, guys, because this piece that I'm referring to very much sums it up with this, right? Which is, instead of focusing on avoiding seed oils, maybe just continue to focus on avoiding fast and highly processed foods and sticking to whole nutrition foods, and don't get caught up in the details of saying, a headline said don't eat seed oils. No, actually, don't go to McDonald's, don't go to Burger King, and go to the store, buy some whole food. And if there's some seed oil along the way, that's probably okay. And that's really the message, isn't it, Jorie? That there's the headlines that cause the fear, but I knew the answer, Jorie. That's why I wanted. That's why I wanted to ask it to you, because we live in a headline world, and all of a sudden somebody, shouldn't have seed oils. Yep. No. Don't go to McDonald's 5 days a week and worrying about your fucking seed oil.
Brother, you just fucking hit it on the head. It's all these little details that people love to harp about, but they're not looking at the big shit that they're doing.
Yeah.
It's like, it's a distraction. Oh yeah, I got to avoid seed oils. Oh, what do you want from the drive-thru?
Right? And then you think you're holier than thou. No offense, people. Then you think you're holier than thou, and because you're avoiding seed oils. But what else? What else? But if you want to avoid seed oils, I'm totally cool with it.
Yes.
Go for it. I think that's okay. There's all different ways to get to the same destination.
Yes.
But I would just say exactly, like, the headlines are there to create conversation, specifically fear, so people will keep on coming back but if we can decrease the fear, which is adding extra stress that we don't need.
Yes.
If we look at, and every single time it'll be what all three of you are saying, less crap, right?
Yes.
Less
verifying that there's no seed oil in your Big Mac is not going to help your problem.
Right.
Yeah, they need to avoid that Big Mac and Ronald.
Exactly. There's no seed oils. Well, shit, there's no seed oils in the Big Mac. Give me the supersized meal, please.
All right, you're hanging out with Keith, Jorie, Jon, and Marty here on Morning in the Lab with Keith and Friends. We're wrapping up our segment with Jorie Janzen, our favorite guest here. We get so much, Jorie. We get so much conversation from the audience, and people come to me after. Like, I'm telling you, between you and AJ, people are always asking. They do. I was like, so what does Jorie think about this one? I don't know. We'll ask her. And so I get some mental health. We'll ask AJ, which is awesome, because people are resonating with what you're saying, and it's working, which is fantastic.
Well, I would have to say that what's working is this as a team, because we will have different ideas. We will bring in different research or experiences is the biggest one, I think.
Yes.
And I think that adds, so that way people don't feel 100%. Like, it's only one way. And so I think that it's the conversations amongst different mindsets.
I agree.
And we all come together in the end, we all want the same thing in the end.
Yes.
So that's what I think. And you guys make so much joy. Like my mornings are like, I get up and like, oh, I got to get up. But by the time I'm done every time, because of all of you,
That's awesome.
It's a great start to my morning. So
That's
thank
awesome. That's awesome. Hey, before we do quickly go, Marty, to answer your question, we had a wonderful dinner a few weeks back. Myself, Lauren, Kurt, and Jorie. Great conversation. I do have some video, Marty, I will share with you of those two yapping away. Just Jorie.
Oh, yeah. I need to see that.
Yeah. And Kurt and I just did our thing and watched the ladies and observed. But it was a wonderful dinner, a wonderful social experience. And we are going to absolutely do it again, which I'm very much looking forward to. So, Jorie, what do you
say, though? I have to say, I did not find Lauren to be someone that talks a lot too much. Well, I don't know.
It was an active fright. So I think maybe she felt like she couldn't. Maybe she's like, I won't talk too much to him. Like, no, fuck, man, what are you talking about? So, but no, it was.
Or maybe she heard the show. She heard me talking trash. She might have heard me talking trash. Yeah.
That too.
No, I thought she was awesome. She's a beautiful human being, and I did not find it
great.
Even a little bit too much
at
all.
And guys, Jorie's taller than I thought. Yeah, Marty, she made me feel short. Like I'm actually, Marty, you know how tall I am not.
Well, if she's 5'7.5", she's gonna make you feel short.
I know. Well, yeah, I thought I was 5'7", but as my kids and my wife keeps reminding me that I'll keep closer to 5'5", 5'6".
Well, I was also wearing boots with a head a little bit of heel, right?
Yeah, no.
Yeah. But yes, I am 5'7", so yeah, a little bit.
Jorie, get out of here, Jimmy.
We got to do some investigating, sir.
Jorie, we appreciate you so much. You have a great day today. Okay, we'll talk tomorrow night.
See you Friday, Jorie.
All right. Jorie's gonna get out of here, guys. We're gonna reset here. I know that Marty's got to get out of here. I know Johnny's got to get out of here in a second too. Johnny,
I got to go at 6:15 today, brother.
Yeah, so here's what we're going to do here. Yes, Shinku, I am the short king. Yes, I'm the short king. Marty, you're going to rock and roll out of here. You're going to got some shit in front of you. Johnny, we'll say goodbye to you too as well. Then Jimmy and I will do our creator spotlight community corner because we're with
two. Man. I see y'all tomorrow, man.
Have a good look, brother.
Johnny, this is like us waking up at 2:55 and 3:55 going, I guess we're getting out of here in 3 minutes. So today was a fun night. Scott Shetler's a good dude, man. I would invite you to check out Scotty on Substack there, and he's same age as you and I, right? Same generation. So when I found him, and I'm like, we got to talk to that guy because I'm suspecting.
I like the fact that he's promoting consistency.
Yes.
I can't remember his phrase, but it's consistency over intensity. I think it was.
Yeah.
But that's beautiful.
It is
framing it properly.
That's exactly right. So, all right, Christopher Keach is joining us. Hey, Keacher, man, I'd love to have you here in the comments. Marty, we got Keach joining us from California there. He's joining us this morning from the comments, which is awesome. Good to have you here this morning. Chris, Keach, we got to get you back on the show, brother. I'm going to come knock on your door later today and have you come back in here and catch up with myself and John and Marty. Johnny, what do you got on the agenda today, pal? I got a light one today for me. It's Wednesday. I went for a walk this morning. I'm going to get some yoga, and I'm really excited to do some yoga today. And I'll tell you right now, man, my plan is to do 45 minutes, and I'm going to do it in 3 15-minute segments. So I'm going to do today.
There you go. You go. You know, you may find it being more beneficial to you, brother, because every time you get blood flow, you actually kind of refocuses you.
Yes. Yeah. Well, you know what I do? I don't know if you do this too, but I do this. I think about my day in advance often in the morning, and I'm okay. So this, and I feel like I recognize that if I have a lot of sedentary activity throughout the day, I take that and I fucking get ahead of it because I know what is going to be an absolute. So I don't want to be that. Yeah, I got all my shit done in the morning and I sat down for the rest of the day. I'm like, no, I got to find a way to break it up so that I'm moving throughout the entire day. You follow me?
Yeah. No, I actually recently started doing like today I'm going to ride my dirt bike. It's a dirt bike ride day. So I'm going to do it at 2 because at 2, it gives me a stronger afternoon.
Oh, I like that. I gotta, dude, I need to see a video of you on the dirt bike. That would I did because you're not.
It's crazy. Some of the jumps some of the doubles are like 60 feet apart.
Well, dude, you're not a little man. What are you, 6'3"? You're 6'3".
That's what I mean. I'm fucking sitting. It's a 4th gear track. I mean, you're fucking hauling ass. You know what I mean?
And you're not on some little fucking TRC 80 or something. What you got a big dirt bike.
Yeah, no, I got the big one. I got the CRF 450. So it's all of our bikes are race bikes.
That's fun, man. That's fun. All right, brother, you get out of here. We'll see you back tomorrow for the loop. Looking forward to it. Another great show today, another great week of content. And as you saw, I dropped some stuff in your feed yesterday. So, and Jimmy's making content for us, brother. So you enjoy your day today, brother. Enjoy the conversation. We'll catch up in less than 24 hours in the morning loop.
Right on. And on the stuff that you dropped, I had to request access, so I'm waiting.
Get it to you today, brother.
You got it, baby.
All right,
have a good loop, brother.
You too, man. All right, Johnny's going to get out of here, nation. We're going to keep it rolling. Jimmy, me and Jimmy left. Mornings in the Lab with Keith and friends here. The only morning show to help you guys get your day started. We go at it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Yeah, true story. Who else do you know that gets up every single day to help you guys get up every single day? I don't know anybody. Maybe Jimmy. Jimmy gets up in the future, in the Philippines over there. But listen, we are going to, so today we talked habits. We talked healthy habits. We celebrated Amy Reinert's recomposition goals. We had Scott Shetler on the show here today talking about his experiences helping his clients and creating good habits. We had Jorie Janzen here today as well talking about this idea of meal prep. Yeah, so no, you should never not have food ready for you. I have taken what I've learned hanging out in this show, and I've just added meal prep back to my world. So when I get done down here, I can head up there and have good, healthy food that's ready and available for me. So I'm making good decisions through good habits. We know that bad decisions generally come from bad habits, and when that happens, shit goes sideways. All right, Jimmy, let's. I am moving over to the creator spotlight screen on my screen. Yeah. And we are going to keep it rocking and rolling here. Jimmy, I'm just going to pull it up on the horizontal screen. Oh, I see we got somebody who's not boring here this morning on the show that we are going to celebrate. He's not on the show yet, but he's somebody I'm expecting we're going to celebrate here and have on the show in the coming days and weeks. But we got somebody here who's all about not following trends. Yeah, he's this guy here. Let's get after it. So some people follow trends. Others create them. Yeah. And when I think about what Substack has done recently, they are rewarding folks for creating trends instead of creating this idea of a fad. Let's create a trend. No, not a fad. It was let's not worry about creating viral content. Let's work at creating trending content, because if you're creating a trend, you're getting others to create the content and others to be a part of what you're creating, right? You do something viral, you've done it once, right? You create a trend, you're going to get others to do it as well. So listen, this fellow, he's all about creating trends. Yeah. Imagine building a platform that's just part storytelling, part investing, and all about optimism for the future. Imagine doing it as a one, not two, not three, a one-person powerhouse. No big team. Nope. No corporate bloat. Nope. Just big ideas and even bigger impact. Listen, does it sound impossible? It might sound impossible, but the reality is not for this creator. This guy, he's the author of the wildly popular Substack newsletter with over 200,000 subscribers. Not 200, 200,000 subscribers. He's the founder of Not Boring Capital, backing early stage startups building the future. And this dude, he's proving that optimism isn't just a mindset, it's a strategy. So, Business Athlete Nation, I invite you, and I want to take a moment to celebrate this morning, Mornings in the Lab with Keith and friends. Jimmy, I'm going to get the horizontal set up here. Where is my slide? There it is. It's there. No, there it is. No, I'm going to get the horizontal, Jimmy. Today, Mornings in the Lab with Keith and friends is ridiculously excited to celebrate Packy McCormick. What's up, Packy? There you go, my friend. He is not boring. Packy McCormick is not boring. No, he is not boring at all. Meet Packy McCormick. Let's meet him. The tech world's de facto storyteller and investing, shining a light on the most ambitious ideas and the people bold enough to pursue them. Yeah. Through Not Boring, Packy breaks down complex tech and startup stories with clarity and will. He invests in groundbreaking companies like those manufacturing drugs in space and reimagining how the physical world is built. He inspires a generation of creators and innovators with his unique blend of storytelling and strategy. So in a world of skepticism, this dude, Packy McCormick, his optimism is contagious. He just doesn't write about the future. No, baby. He invests in it. Packy McCormick is living proof that a single voice backed by bold ideas can spark a movement. With Not Boring, he's not just telling stories. This dude is building a better tomorrow. Optimism through the world of Packy McCormick has never looked so exciting. So, brother, I got an invitation for you, pal. We want to celebrate you today for the Mornings in the Lab Creator Spotlight, where we take somebody over on Substack, LinkedIn, on some of the creator platforms, and we celebrate them. Why? Because we like the work that we're doing. And now we want to make an invitation to you to invite you to our show to take somebody in your orbit and do the same thing we did with you. Hand over the big old Mornings in the Lab light and say, hey, Keith, yeah, we're going to go shine that light on that person over there so that we can create some energy for that human being there for the Creator Spotlight. So on behalf of myself, Jimmy, Jon and Marty, and everybody here in the lab, Packy McCormick, we're here to celebrate you this morning for Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. There you go. Yeah, there you go. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. Okay, so it looks like we are getting towards the bottom of the show here. Just got a text from Jorie. Wonder what she's saying here to us. Let's see. Am I reading it on the air? Oh, yeah. Talking seed oils. Let's just get back into that for a second, guys. Listen, you're going to see headlines about don't eat seed oils while you're crushing your Big Mac, or while you're crushing your craft dinner, or while you're crushing anything that you probably is overarching on that decision. So sometimes my thought process, guys, is don't get caught up in the headlines, right? The headlines serve a purpose. We live in a world of hooks. We live in a world of getting people sucked into our content. Read the hook, read the information, and then go do some searching. And listen, guys, good time I see you there, brother. I appreciate your comments. And good time, I got to tell you this, man. You are so engaging on our content after show on the shorts, and you've heard me say it before, but I'm going to say it again. Full of gratitude, brother. Full of gratitude because you have a choice and you choose to spend your time with us in the mornings. And man, I'm so great. And good time. I'm grateful, especially those days when times are tough. Right? Because, I got a job here, which is to be in front of the camera to make sure it sounds and looks like it's all positive. That's what y'all pay me for. That's what y'all pay me for. Yeah. But the reality is there's many days when you're building something from scratch. There's actually more days than not where it's fucking tough. You're questioning yourself. You're questioning what you're doing. You're questioning the stats. You're questioning what's going on. But when you believe in something so inherently to be true, like what we're doing here on the show, you keep going at it. So when I see the comments from Good Time and Shinku and Keech and everybody who joins, it's my fuel, frankly. It's the fuel. Because without the comments, without you guys tuning in, you tend to ask yourself, what the hell are you doing? Right? I know that if I'm affecting 10 guys, we are affecting 1,000 guys. I know that if we are affecting 1,000 guys, we're affecting 100,000 guys. And that's the vision here, right? And it all starts with one. And I know that we have a wonderful tribe, a wonderful community, a wonderful space of men that we're creating here. And I can think about, we got Shinku, we got Good Time, we have Adam Peters, we have Christopher Keech, we have Scott Benzie, we have a troop of men. I know I'm going to fucking miss a bunch of men here. Then I'm like, oh my God, I feel about the Academy Awards. Jeremy Cunningham, Mike Smart, we have Richie Ingram, Adam Holroyd. We got a group of men that show up, and I'm just eternally grateful for that. I really am, because when we stepped out here in March of last year to say, hey, I got a hypothesis. I think there's a need for this. I think there's a need for a morning show for men. We started out, and truthfully, when we started the show, it wasn't necessarily for men. But as we've been going at it, it's clear there's an audience here. It's clear there's a desire for this information, and it's clear there is a community that wants to be a part of that. So when I hear from you, it's my energy to go again tomorrow. So I thank you. I thank you. And I cannot be sincere enough to say that to you guys. So, and listen, guys, one last thing. This show is not only about me, but this show is about all of us. It's not about me. It's about all of us. I want to keep getting feedback from you guys. So if there's things you're liking, let us know. If there's things you're not liking, let us know. If there's things you want to hear more of, let us know. We are constantly iterating, watching data, constantly iterating, changing, making changes as we continue building the show out. And I'm sure those of you that are regulars can see the changes that continue to evolve as we iterate. Now, that's the word, iterate, this morning. All right, so I am going, there's my little, not a rant. No, just because John left, we're not ranting. Nope. We are offering positively influential content for you guys to consider. And I got a nice message from Amy Reinhardt as well. Amy, I appreciate you. And listen, here's the other thing, boys. I know we're creating a show for men, but men, this show is also for your wives. Could be for your moms. Could be for your kids. Yeah, we drop some F-bombs, but we're talking about stuff that's important to us. If it's important to men, it's important to you, it's important to us. And in my experience, if it's important to men, our wives, our partners, our lovers, our girlfriends, our kids might want to know what we're talking about. So I invite you men to invite your wives to tune into the show as well. Listen, I know a lot of wives that read GQ magazine. I know a lot of girls that picked up the old Playboy. I know a lot of girls that read Sports Illustrated. Yeah, they're men's journal, men's health. Yes, I know they're men's products. Behind every good man is a good woman or another good man. And that's the other thing here in this show, guys. Listen, I'm going to just state this. I know there has been some changes in the position of the U.S. government towards certain types of humans. You're welcome here. I really don't care what your gender is. I actually don't. I don't care what your gender is. I don't care who you sleep with. If you have big goals and you want to achieve them, and whether you're a male or female, and you attune to the kind of content we're creating here, come here. If you don't feel safe over there, you come here. Uncle Keith's going to make you feel safe. And I'm going to tell you this. I believe I know what I'm going to say next to be true. If you don't believe me, you ask anybody tuning in on a regular basis. The Scott Benzes, the Amy Reinhardts, the Good Times, the Shinkus, they know this is a safe space. They know Uncle Keith's got your back. So again, I'll remind you, I don't care what gender you are. I don't care who you sleep with. This is a show for you. Yeah, we talk men's stuff, but this is a show for you. All right? That's it. That's it. I got stuff to do. Mike Smarter, if you're tuning in, I'm going to come knock on your door later today. Jimmy, should we get out of here, pal? I'm going to wait for Jimmy's response before I just get out of here. Jimmy, should we get out of here, pal? He's frantically typing. He's like, let's get out of here, friend. Yeah, we're going to get out of here. Scotty Benzie, what's the best way to get a hold of you for comments? Scott, I'll tell you, brother, you can hit me up on LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is really much the pillar. We are, and I'll revise that. So LinkedIn Substack is our pillar. Actually, I'll give you guys something to think about, right? We have been building out on LinkedIn, all the social platforms, but here's some truth. Ears go up, guys. Listen to what I'm going to say next. If you're in the world of content creation, you need to start on a platform you own. And then once you start on the platform you own, you go out from there. So a platform like Substack, you own the email addresses of people that subscribe to you. When somebody follows you on LinkedIn or Instagram or X or Threads, that follow is not yours, it's somebody else's. So I would invite you to consider, if you are in the creation business, start on a platform you own, plant the seed, and distribute it from there. So Benzie, to answer your question, come find me over on LinkedIn. Come find me on Substack. I'd love to chat with you. But best place, come find me on LinkedIn. I'll give you my number, brother. And I'm not going to do it here on the show. No, I had to do that yesterday. Yeah. So Benzie, come find me on LinkedIn. We'll connect, and I'd love to hear your feedback. All right. But until then, we are going to get out of here and get ready for tomorrow's show. It's funny. When you do a morning show, man, you quickly recognize how fast tomorrow comes. Yeah. And you start to live a life where schedule and time becomes very, very not obtuse. It's very, very definitive, because 8 o'clock Eastern time comes tomorrow, whether I like it or not. Not 8:01, not 8:03, 8 o'clock. every single Monday to Friday. It's fascinating when you start something that you do every single day, which is your product, how quick time creeps up on you. So on behalf of myself, I'm Keith Bilous, Uncle Keith to all of you. On behalf of my co-host, CMartyFit, on behalf of my co-host, Jon Andersen, on behalf of my wonderful producer, Jimmy, love Jimmy, man. We can't do this without Jimmy. On behalf of Tommy in the comments are interacting with all of you. On behalf of Melissa, hanging out with me, helping me build this show and build Mornings in the Lab with Keith and friends. On behalf of Shinku and Amy and Scott and Good Time and everybody, Scott Shetler, everybody who tuned in today, I thank you. We'll see you tomorrow, less than 24 hours. Mornings in the Lab with Keith and friends, the only morning show. Dope, you guys get up, get your ass out of bed, and hit those big, audacious goals. We're getting out of here. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Let's get out of here, Jimmy.